So, as many of you are aware, yesterday the government announced the JobKeeper payment. This is a payment of $1,500 per employee per fortnight for businesses where turnover has dropped by 30% or more. Turnover is revenue. I'm already getting a lot of questions from businesses as to the details of this relief option, how it applies, what they can do to access it. So this is a relief option that requires the employer to opt in. It's not one that's automatically applied. So I encourage business owners to get in touch with the Australian Taxation Office. That's the body that business owners need to get in touch with for this relief option, and register with the Australian Taxation Office. Small businesses are already asking me, how is the 30% decrease in turnover going to be calculated? So the government has announced that it is a decrease of 30% if your total revenue is less than $1 billion, which is most companies that I'm speaking with at the moment. And it's for a period of a month relative to a comparable period a year ago. So in order to participate, employers need to get in touch with the ATO and provide to the ATO supporting documents to show that their revenue has decreased by at least 30% for the period of a month compared to this same month last year, effectively. They also need to provide to the ATO the number of eligible employees, and that number will need to keep being reported monthly. So the employee has to have been on board with the employer on their books from the 1st of March 2020 and continue to be engaged either full-time, part-time, or casual who've been with that employer for more than 12 months, and it includes stood-down employees as well. The employee must be an Australian citizen, permanent visa, or other specific category of visa holders. The government has published a specific list. It includes employees that have been stood down, as well as employees who have been laid off but re-engaged by that employer. Importantly, it includes sole trader businesses who have experienced more than 30% decrease in revenue. It can only be paid to the primary employer of a person. So if a person works 2 jobs, they can only, the employer who's their primary employer is the only employer who can claim the JobKeeper payment. The way to determine if an employer is the primary employer is if it's that employer where the employee is claiming their tax-free threshold. So it's not able to be paid to employers of people's second jobs. The employers can also top up the payment. So what does this mean? This means that if an employee is regularly earning $1,500 per fortnight or more from their employer, the employer would continue to pay their usual wage or salary to their employee, and this $1,500 per fortnight will be effectively a subsidy to the employer. What happens though if the employee is earning $1,500 or less per fortnight, or they've already been stood down? What happens in this case is the employer must pass on the $1,500 to the employee as a minimum payment before tax. Yes, that's right. It sounds like tax is going to be payable on these payments that employees receive. What happens in the case of somebody who is a sole trader who was potentially going to claim the job seeker payment and the coronavirus supplement from Centrelink? In this case, it's either or payment being available to that person. The government is saying that in some cases, this JobKeeper payment for the sole trader may work out to be more advantageous than the combination of the job seeker plus coronavirus supplement from Centrelink. However, everybody should check in their individual circumstances what is the case. If you are eligible for the JobKeeper payment, you must update Centrelink to let them know that you are receiving or will be receiving this payment, and you won't be eligible for certain other payments in that case. As for the employers, this payment is to be paid to the employers monthly in arrears. So the first payment will be to employers in the first week of May 2020. If you would like more detailed examples, please feel free to go to treasury.gov.au because they have a fact sheet that explains it, and I will link it in the comment as well. Hope this has helped to answer some of your questions. If you do have other questions, please post them below and I'll do my best to answer them.